Alright, let's do a quick little review. So the biggest things that I needed to improve on was combat. This time I did use a map. Unfortunately, I didn't add any cover. I should say this is the yay stuff. Oh shoot. Yay map. Add cover. Another thing, I was targeting, unintentionally, I was targeting a player, but it just was whoever was nearest me, and it happened to be a squishy spellcaster. So it had to be target more smart. Not just whoever is convenient, but like target the cleric, healer. Healer, not just the spellcaster who forgets to move out of melee. That was the biggest thing. And they want more riddles. So I think people like that. More riddles and also more things in the area. Now, what actually happened? Here's a nice little behind the scenes, not behind. This is the behind the scenes. This is like the nice summary where this one was supposed to be a long thing that I did not end up really doing. I should have just committed to it. They still received what they had to receive. This one was fine. The pigeons were fine. I probably should have threw in more pigeons. Some more things in the area, not just blank void. Like I could have added more birds just from how this world was created. More birds walking across. I feel like I should have added like a tourist booth. It just made sense. Tourist booth beside the obelisk. How do you spell that? Obelisk? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, more riddles. More riddles slash puzzle. But another good thing about adding more things to the area is that they have more solutions. Like for the very last puzzle here, it was actually the encounter. It was adding an extra wall to this triangular prism, and it should have been. My plan was like, oh, someone's gonna have like wall of water, and they can just freeze that, and that's fine. That was my expectation, or something else. Someone would have a spell, surely. But they were looking to see if there are items around. I could have said, oh yeah, there's like dirt, but that doesn't really make sense in the air. So I could have said like clouds. They could have just frozen clouds and taken snow. Like that kind of would have worked for a little bit. Um, that was the main thing. What were the other ones I wrote down? Well, this time they gave me like we all sat like we weren't finished pretty on time slash early, so like, or I guess earlier than I normally do. This one went from, well, I'll do the 4 hours. This one was 4 hours total. Good. Usually I do 4.5 to 5 hours, so this is a shorter one on my side. And that was after buffing these, oh, I didn't show it. After buffing the wonderful, beautiful evils. Like, I was not 67 health. I probably doubled, tripled. I don't actually remember. They were buffy. Oh, another thing. Oh, sorry. This is the review that I want. For the fighting, for the combat, use different attacks, not just smack. Right? Like the unicorn had lots of abilities I didn't use, like teleporting and healing allies. They had some like druid craft or whatever, but like that was not helpful, so I didn't think about it. But like definitely teleporting, getting themselves out of melee situations without evoking opportunity attacks, that would have been good. And also it had charging, which I used a lot. I guess charge more, to attack, etc. But that was good. More puzzles, more riddles. more dynamic, more unique attacks, I suppose. But on the other hand, one good thing was the floor. People like the layer action slash adding in the extra creature. The floor being added. Play smarter. I think that's the thing we said. Target smarter. Not just whoever is near. Because I was thinking, like, if I really want to do it, I would go for the healers. But I went to what I think was just like, oh, it's close to me, therefore I'm going to do that. So yeah. Oh, he just said traps and stuff. That's another thing. Traps. Items. Traps on the battlefield. Hazards. Floor hazard slash creature. Alright, okay. Now to actually go over and what I would change with all of this information. So, it's just a bunch of artists who are stuck in the sky. Now, first things first, I would completely get rid of that. You're not stuck in the sky, but rather, here the best way to capture the Aurora Borealis is to go to the top and capture it. And maybe I guess you don't know for sure. You've been told that there is a, not an obelisk. What is it? Like a anchor type of thing. There's an anchor structure that controls the Aurora that you can bring down to. Therefore, you have to rebuild it. And another thing is I can just straight up remove the other prism, because now they know they need to build a prism. Or they can still not know it's a prism, but be like, hey, there's something at the top there that you can do to restructure it. I did like that they talked about their art. I'm glad they did that. So this is more like, instead of it getting, we can still keep this. The Aurora gets stronger. Oh, shoot. Grows stronger and brighter, you realize you can climb up. Then, the next initiative is climbing up the Aurora Falls. Aurora Falls, like a waterfall. That would give me a little more creative freedom, because they're initially I was thinking it's going to be glass that shatters, and maybe that's still the way to go, where the glass shatters and now it's everywhere, and now you got to contain it and redirect it. Glass shattered, redirect, and contain. Fix to redirect and contain the Aurora. So if you have the waterfalls, then you're going to have glass. It's going to be hella piercing. There's going to be maybe just like cloud for like con saves. This could be maybe a con save of just like really thin air to sudden humidity. There's definitely going to be geese, and I feel like you need charisma save. That's not common, but you gotta convince them that you're chill and convince them not to run into you, because geese are terrifying, right? That's the way to go. And then I don't need this stuff because I didn't really end up using this stuff. This was like, you have to get out of this pit, but I just didn't do it at all. And then I looked at the time like, oh my gosh, it's only been like half an hour. How am I going to go through this? So I ended up throwing in the same combat later, but it was more like a traditional combat where it's a gelatinous cube. But again, not gelatinous cube, but more of an Aurora that's just a little more angry, right? Everyone saved their art, obviously, and they already receive big old glass pane. That's fine. I think instead you say at the top of the falls, you find fallen structure. You find a glass pane, but you don't see the structure yet, and you have to go through something else. So there's glass, there's cloud, there's geese. There's probably going to be space rocks, so like asteroids and stuff. There is also a reptile and horse-like creature. So like, what do horses have? Hay? You can get blinded or something? Hay and dust in your eyes. Maybe like you're blinded for a minute or something. I think that's fine. That would have been good. Now, this is fine. They can just, options. They can, what was it? It was brace, or you can brace to get, brace or advantage the hazard. That's one option. They could straight up dash up, and I would probably make it like 200 feet. Yeah, I would say it's around 200 feet. 200 feet. So it's going to be several rounds, depending on what it is. I think it was like, you can make 25 on a fail. This is taking a page out of Wonderlust DM busily. It's a 25 fail. It's a 50. 75 on with haste or natural. So you can do dash up, you can brace. You can also aid one person, one ally. Oh no, it was aid everyone by something creative. Like, look out or something. Then it has a nice classic going up a almost vertical hill. You're just rock climbing up. So like, this is what I had initially, but just flat, and it didn't make sense, so I changed it again. And I just threw it out in the moment, and I didn't like that. But yeah, you do find glass pane, that's fine. I think you do see the base. You see the structure, I suppose. You also see, in my mind, there's a tourist information booth, as well as a map, which is just map of Earth. It doesn't really tell you much. It'll show you the poles, and the electromagnetic fields. I think there's going to be a kind of like a chicken coop. Man, what else is around here? There's not going to be a stable, but there is going to be like what looks like a racetrack. There's going to be fire, like a fire pit. That's the word. Fire pit, campfire. Not burning. As bleachers. Fire pit, 2 words. Wow. Okay. Learn something new. And you are no longer aware that you need to get to the upcoming art show. You instead, from like the tourist booth, you get information that the auroras are strong at poles and normally aren't so slow to the ground, which is like 200 feet. That's very low to the ground. And then what? What is their goal? Their goal is to capture the aurora. They say that a prism could capture light. Or maybe you just take out this word and be like, oh, something. Maybe there's just a question that just says, how do you capture something that is massless and as fast as light? And then maybe just reword that to make it sound nicer. The speed of light. So whenever you do riddles, it's a bit tough to do a simile when light is literally the fastest thing in the world. Maybe you just say like, ah yes, faster than a horse. Faster than the stars. Faster than Misty Step. It's D&D. So maybe there's, okay, I'm changing it now. So now there's a riddle in the booth, in the info booth. Obtain info. So, obtain knowledge of a container. Right, and then let's make a riddle right here, right now. Faster than Misty Step. Found, I want to say on every plane, but I don't know if that is true. Found every plane. First spell. Lighter than air. Air. Does air have mass? Yeah, it does. I remember because we had an experiment because of gravity. You know, air has weight. We have other weight pushing it. Does light have weight? Light is massless. Photons are massless. How do you capture? How do you capture? How do you capture? How do you capture what has no mass? Okay. Mass should be easy to rhyme, like at last. Pass. Ooh, from present to the past. From the beginning of past. From the beginning here today, and from the beginning of past. How do you capture what has no mass? Great. Faster than haste? Haste, lace, grace, mace, taste, race. Haste and race, maybe. This also doesn't make sense. How do you capture what has no mass? It's not a container. You use prisms, but even so, you're not capturing light. Or like a mirror. Anyways, this is something I would work on. I guess I'll just make a note. Yeah, this one here. To be I was gonna mess up the structure of this, so I'm just gonna work on this. Finish riddle. Finish riddle. Alright. I keep the cowboy, but I need to work on his voice. Not much happened with him. He gave him the triangle, but I feel like he also gave him some information. Maybe I need to develop him more. I forgot he does have rope. Uh, yeah, maybe he's just fishing. I think that might have been cooler. I don't know. He was fine. There's actually, for once, he didn't do much. They weren't too engaged. And I feel like as soon as I spoke, I lost his voice, which is like a big part of it. Like that happens all the time. Hence why I don't do that many voices, but whatever. They did trade because they failed to persuade or whatever. And they didn't push back. I was like, oh, I need this to travel with the boat. And they're like, oh, okay, well, that's fair. I was like, okay, well, you can trade. But they eventually did, which is fine. It was good. But I felt like I was a little too railroady. Mm, maybe I just lost it. The NPC. What was his goal? His goal was just to see the auroras. Maybe he could have looked at art because they're all artists. So what would he do? You just sit there with him and look at the art? Maybe he's like, hey, if you come with me on this boat, if you help me, I can. Oh, yeah. You help me. Oh, I don't know. Another puzzle. Uh, I can get you the puzzle. Hey, if you can help me with whatever puzzle, I can. What does he help you with? Triangular glass pane. Am I still going with that with a container? The latches of the container. Get you the base of the structure. Now the issue is now I need a puzzle, right? And I need a visual puzzle. Now I had a really old one that I had a long time ago that I just didn't use. That one required a lot of random trivia. I wonder if there's a way to make it related. Right? Like if I just did something like, hey, related to light, electromagnetic light. Maybe you just, oh my gosh, what if you just sort things from uh smallest, biggest to smallest, right? Because you have photons, um, smallest physics. Let me just look at something. Protons, electrons, atoms, um, a quark. I don't know what quarks are. Like, I'm pretty sure I kind of learned it and then forgot about it because it's been a while. Um, Quarks are smaller than electrons? Molecules, atoms. Hold on. If I went atoms and photons, um, crystal, atom, nucleon. Okay, well, what is a photon? That's the issue. So, like, I just need someone who's in physics or something to do this, but alas. Okay, or they just go through radio waves, and the issue is that they can't see. Oh my gosh, what if I had something that represents the light? Use radio, microwave, infrared, visible, ultraviolet, The issue is that there's nothing common, and I don't expect them to have something that is D&D related. So maybe I think smallest to biggest is a way to do it. If I just said photon versus like hydrogen size. Why is D&D got me learning things? Okay, but how big is a photon? How big is a photon? Um, Reddit says doesn't really have a size. Huh. Photons are light quanta, meaning they're both waves and particles, but they do not have mass, and thus do not have a size. Shoot. Okay, that makes sense. So instead, what I could do is find the keyword, and that keyword is going to be wave. Keyword, which is actually going to be a gesture. So I said this is a radio. Radio. A surfboard. Surfboard. Radio. You see, is the wave used in disco? Wave dance. Is that hip hop? How do I represent dance? Okay, maybe if I did a disco well, it might be a bit of a stretch. A disco ball. I don't know how else to represent dance. Like I have ballet shoes, but like that also isn't related to dance. Okay, what if you did like wave but like a stadium, right? So let's do a stadium. What's common in a stadium? That's like a hot dog. You know, that's what it is. Radio, surfboard, hot dog, and baseball cap. Is that weird? Or like a foam finger? You know what? No, it's gonna be a hot dog and a baseball cap. Radio, wave, surfboard, hot dog, baseball cap. What else? A flood? A tide? I guess that's the surfboard one. A wave of emotions? A wavy hair. A lock of hair is what is it? I know my hair is like a 1A, right? Hair, curly, start. Wavy is like anything but one, so two. Anything after three, I would say is curly. Curls? Like a, what's it called? Curling iron? Because that will make wavy hair. Yeah. And then I'm going to actually take out this one. This is if they don't get it early on. Oh, right. I can just do Alt Shift 5. I forgot. This is Google Docs. So this room is you just wave at the sensor. Undulating and consistent light allows for the mixed area open in the info in the, you know what, in the boat dock, dock shed, boat shed, what's it called? Right, it's a boat shed, that's what it's called, right? Boat house, is that what it's called? Boat house meaning in the boat dock. One word, two words. One word or two words. Great. So a surfboard, hot dog, and a baseball cap, and a curling iron. And he's like, hey, please figure it out. And I think we can do something that's smallest to largest. Or like, okay, heaviest to lightest. And then we can go photons list. What's something obviously heavy, like lead? No, what's it called? Like a titanium cube. And you can all borrow these. These ones you can borrow and borrow. Okay, titanium cube. Nice and obviously heavy. A pound of feathers, a pound of bricks. This one will be, how big is titanium? I don't know. Titanium cubes are heavy, right? A 1-inch cube is 73 grams. Okay, but that's just like heavy in mass, but it's not actually heavy, right? It's like per whatever, right? Even if I did have leave like a feather, like obviously that's lighter, but if I'm saying a pound of feathers, that's different. But if I had titanium cube and 73 grams, that's going to be lighter than a pound of feathers. So do I care about the actual ones or like what it represents? Scale. You just have a ball of light? Why did I choose photons? I'm so tired. I want to sleep. I should sleep. There's no way I'm playing Valorant now. What else is heavy? Emotional weight. Pain. Density? Is that what I'm sorting? Things that are dense. Okay, a titanium cube. Rubik's cube size. A Rubik's cube. You get yarn cube. don't like this. This is silly. What if it's not sorting, but like what does not belong? And it's gonna be a Rubik's Cube with more than one color. Doesn't belong. Instead of sorting, oh. Too many colors. But then the yarn cube is fine. That's weird. All boxes. A block of paint. A brick. Brick but a cube. I don't like this one. I'm going back to heaviest to lightest. Or largest to smallest. Or alphabetical. I don't like alphabetical. Wait, what about you do like things that are related to time? Wait, what if we said sort quantity? Like, what do we have a lot of? We have a lot of sand. So we would have sand as the most. We don't have that many trees. How many trees on Earth? Arbist, our arboristnow.com says 3.04 trillion trees. Arboristnow.com. Grains of sand is obviously the most. But we probably don't know. What is a rare material? Rare rocks. Okay, the thing is, if I give them a diamond, they're just gonna cast Revivify, which is, I guess, fine. How rare is diamond? But I know it is an artificial, what you call it, it's artificial scarcity. How rare are pearls? How many pearls in the world? How many pearls in the world? Naturally. The pearlsetters.com says 0.001% of all pearls. Okay, I assume pearls are going to be cheaper than diamonds, so let's just do a pearl and a diamond. Right? How much does it take for Revivify? Revivify 5e. You need 300 GP. So what if I just said this is 299 GP? So if you get revived, you lose one thing. You lose personality, memory, physical part, worth 1 GP. I think that's funny. Okay. You see sand, you see trillion trees, so trees goes last. So you go sand, trees, a pearl, a diamond. What else is rare? What is rare on Earth? What animals are rare? Oh my gosh, no, you can just have a passenger pigeon, which are extinct. Right? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is great because I just include birds into this. Right? So now Owen has a little more stuff to be like, hey, there's stuff I want to do. Like, I didn't like this one. I made it, don't like it, I'm going to throw it down here. This one I'm sorting the quantity here. And the keyword is this. This is already the answer, and then these ones I don't use. Because while you could use it, I don't, maybe just a microwave and a gamma ray. Like maybe I have one more with microwave versus gamma ray. And you choose which one to walk through. And you take that damage. But if you survive the gamma ray, then you get a cool OP weapon. Gamma ray on humans. Where do we see gamma rays again? Where do we see gamma rays? Not see, but you know, where are they found? In black holes. Huh. They are produced by the hottest and most energetic objects in the universe, such as neutron stars, pulsars, supernova explosions, and black holes. Okay. So basically, you see one more hallway with 2 doors. Or I guess, yeah, 2 doors. Microwave, a microwave. And gamma ray, you die. I don't know what the, you see a star. A star. Roll con because. Okay. Super blinding light. No, super blinding nothingness? No. Gamma waves are generated by nuclear explosions, lightning, and less dramatic activity of radioactive decay. Okay, so now let's just use lightning. I love using lightning on my players. Lightning, mini, or mini nuclear explosion, and take like, I don't know, 3d6 damage, something. Lightning damage. Perfect. I like this. This is simple. Microwave gamma rays. You know microwaves are kind of safe. But there is a microwave now, like you can plug that in. This is their break room. Formerly break room. Sure. Nice. Okay. Now this one is NA. Congrats on beating the puzzles. Receive 1 space. This one was initially named Kurt, named after Kurt Mega from Spies Are Forever. But now it's Aristotle. You see two pigeons. What I liked is that you have pigeons heading towards standing glass. What do you do? If they save them, you get an ally. If you save them, potential ally and hard hat friend. The issue is that they don't have. I think I unintentionally let them believe that it might be safe for the birds because it's a fantastical world. Um, but yeah, so maybe after. Okay, if you save them, they then coup and they are thankful and pull out goggles and a hard hat. You do have a potential ally. It's a potential ally with DC 13. What I should have done actually is given the one player inspiration because they ended up rolling a 10 for petting the duck, not duck, the pigeon. I should have rewarded that player for that. But at least the other individual that did successfully pet the duck, they got temp HP because they were not damaged in the previous one. And that's fine. Yeah, so you get a hard hat friend buddy. Maybe. Maybe I should lower it because I want them to have it. But like they're level 5, it should be fine. But they're immune to frightened. I like that. It was unfortunate that I rolled a 7, but that's okay. And I think I should have. This was fine. This was okay. And because I was trying to pad for time, that's why they did increase their health. Actually, the thing was, I was counting up their health rather than counting down because math was difficult. So sometimes, who knows which way the health went? Was it up? Was it down? It also did have self heal. It could self heal every single round, which was pretty good. But yeah, no, I should have teleported more often. But I do like. So okay, what I should do is teleport more often. I did like charging, charge, grapple. I also like the tail to grapple, slash restrain, slash auto hit. I think that's what it was. Let me pull it back up. This one has to be with the tail attack though. Okay, the thing is, did I remember this? No, not at all. One of the players also had a familiar that was immune to fire or whatever. So the fire didn't do that much. But I think, maybe I should have given it something else. Add more to the salamander. Add more to the salamander and trust. Trust it is not OP. Next. Good. Description. Good. I love this. It took them slightly longer than I expected, but to be fair, when I was running it by someone to test, like they have no negative consequences that they know of. This one would have probably been lightning, or like, let me look back at the stat blocks again. Scrolling all the way back down to the unicorn. Maybe it casts entangle. I think that's fine. And tangle. I didn't even, like, I did not even prepare that they would be wrong, right? Cast and tangle if wrong, maybe. $20 square, strength save, restrained. It just restrains them. It doesn't. You know what? I'm fine with that. Um, restrains them. Like that fits their character really well because they just want to drop the glass on top of them. So one of them rolled like I don't know, like a 16 or something. I think two of them rolled. So that's what they got. But they did ask me to repeat it, which I know is just because it's a loud environment. Sometimes my voice doesn't carry, especially to the person that sits across from me. Sometimes it's a bit tough because I also struggle to hear them as well. Um, so I did say three voices, and that was like a little hint that there was going to be three creatures, like the four. That was good. That was a way, and they failed their deck saves. That was great. I loved that. And they had their pigeon on the shoulder, but not on their head. So I said the pigeon was fine, but they took a good part of it. But maybe I should say, okay, if you are holding the pigeon not on your head, i.e., arms or shoulder, reduce by 1d4 maybe. I think that was a good way, so that I'm still rewarding them while they still take damage. Because it was a lot. I did not end up using 90 by 90. It was, I don't even know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares? No, more than that. However long that mat was, however that is. Okay, so what is important is add cover. Hills, mounds, a fence that you can see through. Can get. Um, there's the information booth. There's the tourist map, like the permanent, those like wood tourist map things. What else would be around? Oh my gosh, there's gonna be a few boats. If you drag over, you know what? There's gonna be half broken boat. Harnesses. No, there's gonna be like a crate. 2 crates of apples. What else? What else would be there? A wheel? Not really. Maybe a well, a bucket. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't have to be not just cover, but like add items. And so that gives them a little more option. Yeah. And then I could use this like, I don't know. Represent with or this one they eventually use tents. Explore. But now they have a bunch of other things. Oh my gosh, there should be a gift shop, like an Aurora gift shop. Like flashlight. 3 postcards. Like, I would have had fun if I was like, yeah, I'm gonna throw some items in there because I like creating this stuff. Like, this is like fun and silly, whatever. That's fine. Goose size hard hat. Stop sign. Road work ahead. I don't want a road work ahead. They have a traffic light. They probably would not. There would be an ore. I don't know what they would use, but maybe if they had this information, they're like, oh, we'll break up the wood, right? And that's it. So, like, my worst flaw here was feeling underprepared. I felt prepared yesterday at 2 a.m., but here I felt I was underprepared and thus stretched out the combat without adding too many new things. Right? Having the floor hazard was good, but for the most part, they don't know. Maybe they pull down a star at some point. That would be cool. Maybe I'll add that in there. Maybe Twilight Sparkle, the pink guy, pulls down a star. Maybe blue pulls up the ocean. Maybe green drops a tree on you. Like, I like that. Like, that's a little more creative, that things I can do, and maybe use these as layer actions. So, like, do players want layer actions? Will I just have a lot of hazards? I am unsure. Layer action slash IDK gives the blue legendary actions too that are not just attack. Right, and then this part was fine, but they're not going to play it out too much. Okay, there it is. It only took like an hour. Rewriting a little bit here, a little bit there. So instead of all of this, this is the updated one. And I probably cannot play this ever again because if I go back to the same place at DM, there's probably going to be overlap. And this was also based of a different older one, which was also using a prism. And that prism one I ran with a bunch of people, and I also can't run it with them because they kind of already know the situation. I also, the person that gave me feedback on the riddle, where was it? Oh, not this riddle, the other riddle. I asked them, they're part of that group, so maybe I just gotta prepare, wait for this one for another group of friends. There's some people that I know are new to D&D that maybe they want to play. I wonder if they would be a good group because I know a few people who are interested in D&D, but I'm unsure how their energies are. That would be an interesting energy. You know, I'll keep that in mind. But I do have another group of friends that I could run with. Huh. I guess it's not done yet because I can finish this riddle. I don't. Yeah. I just need to think of a riddle here. Or like, it doesn't make sense because this is like a weird, obscure question, but like the answer doesn't make sense. So, him. Him. Okay, what if, okay. My mind is just like, oh yeah, just make a riddle. What has no weight? And never late. Insatiate. Initiate. Hate. Rate. Great. Fate. plants, it satiates. Satiate? Is this silly? I feel like I'm just forcing it because not many people say satiate. Oh my goodness. The more times I say it, the less able I am to say it. Satiate. State. Flate. Inflate. Deflate. Verate. What? Does the sun have mass? It does. Because it has gravity. Man. Hmm. What? One, two, three, four, five, six. What is 6 corners? No face. That's not true. What has 2 faces? But no mouth. Or eyes. What has 2 faces? And 6 points. Only and has only has what has 2 faces? What's the one with the coin? What has 2 faces but no body? What has 2 faces and a long pointy body? And can't roll. What has 2 faces and can't roll? Rectangular or triangular. So another thing is that the obelisk might not have a base, and you don't know if it's going to be triangular or not, because this is before you meet Owen. What has... Oh, but you wouldn't call those faces. It would be a base, because you would call the rectangle also faces, because of math. Area of base times height. What's tall and sharp? A cactus. Doesn't have. What is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What has 5 faces? You can't roll. So it has to be triangular. Would you say, you can do a 5-face pyramid as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or a pyramid with a square base. And then whatever the answer, that's just the glass they can create. This is a math riddle. This is silly. Alright, what goes on forever and never has a point? What would roll forever? What loops infinitely and never have a point? Anyways, people like riddles. I'm gonna leave it as that. This is a fine enough riddle. I will highlight it. That's good. Yeah, just gotta use the character, the stat block more. Another mistake, I told them what block I was using. Don't tell them that. They're gonna realize that uh, they could have killed the unicorn in maybe 2 or 3 turns, not rounds, just turns. Um, so even though it's deadly, they could still kill it pretty easily just because of turn order. So I need to use legendary actions more. So IMO, legendary actions. Maybe I don't know a particular action. Cool. All right. Time to sleep. Yep. That's it.